Welcome back to PST channel. Today PST bring you Changli guide from Wuthering Waves. Changli is not a sub DPS like anyone thought. However, she could also be. Today, you will find that out in this video. Changli Forte circuit is very simple. She gets 1 bar every time she uses her finisher attack. And she can use finisher attack after 1 round of basic combo or skill. So do that 4 times to fill the bar. Alternatively, she filled all 4 bar instantly when she used Liberation. When 4 FC bars are filled, Changli can unleash her powerful attack. Note, I called it as a finisher attack, because it can only be used after a full combo or skill. Changli persona is Suzaku, so she has special trick on performing air combo, unlike most other character who can only do ground hitting again. This video shows both her basic ground combo and basic air combo. Also, the finisher attack looks different too. Note that after using skill and finisher, you will be in the air. If you plunge down, you can shorten combo time by a few seconds. Changli can use skill twice. After she uses her skill, she also triggers special attack too. Changli ultimate will instantly fill all 4 bar of her FC to max. It will also enhance her next FC attack with 25% ATK too. Note that Changli Liberation can be cast mid-air too, unlike most characters. Changli intro skill attacks enemy, while also give her extra chance to use her finisher attack right away. This can save her time for the first combo. Changli outro is similar to Yinlin, but it is fusion version. And sadly, because Changli is not a true sub DPS like Yinlin does. So they nerfed Changli outro time from 14 seconds to 10 seconds in comparison. 4 seconds is a big loss of opportunity. Changli passive doesn't relate to her gameplay mechanics, so you don't have to care it so much. Just that she will get extra fusion DMG bonus when she builds her FC. And that she also gets some fusion DMG bonus and one of her most precious things, 15% defend ignore, when she is casting her burst damage zone stuffs, which includes both liberation and FC attacks. Changli should enter the fight with her intro skill to cut down her already lengthy rotation time. Use finisher attack right away, then she gets +1 FC, then she use her skill to get another finisher +1. She can take a shortcut basic combo, finisher +1. Then she uses her skill again for second time for last finisher +1. This filled her 4 bar and ready to unleash her first FC burst. After that you use her liberation so that she can repeat her FC burst again. So you can notice from this picture that I separate color into 2 sections, right? The first part is the charge up zone. Not only you charges your FC gauge, but actually her unique weapon will also charge its own buff in the background also. The weapon requires you to do a full combo and skills twice in order to give power boost to her next FC burst for 56% damage bonus. Then, the second part is the burst damage zone. This time you unleashed your fully buff FC burst continuously together with your liberation. Your liberation also buff your next FC burst too, so the final one will hurt more. After this you use your echo animation cancel and swap your outro for next fusion unit. Note that in between skill, finisher, basic attack. If you use air finisher then plunge down before combo. You can shorten basic combo time by 2 seconds. Overall, 1/3 of Changli DPS come from her FC burst. Then her liberation is around 20% in condition that you have sufficient energy on every rotation. Skill and finisher are make up for another 1/3. But hey, remember that her FC and finisher also count as skill damage too, right? So, 60% of Changli DPS come from skill. Definitely try to give her skill damage bonus. Changli best weapon is obviously her banner weapon Blazing Brilliance. This sword will likely give extra damage output around 20% increase than second best option due to damage increase during her burst damage zone. However, the buff doesn't come out for free, as I already explained this on her best rotation a while ago, that it require very specific way to charge up. In the dangerous fight like simulator boss, I am not sure if you will be able to concentrate on rotation while dodging enemy attacks or not. So next we have the easier to use option, and everyone almost have it already, which is Emerald of the Genesis. It is a 5* sword that gives similar ATK scale to her unique, but give extra energy regen instead of skill DMG buff. This is handier option for Changli to play with, because it doesn't restrict her rotation or movement. It will also be your primary choice when you use Changli as a sub DPS too. Not to mention that this sword can share uses between Rover, Sanhua, and Changli when you put them on different team in Tower of Adversary. So this thing is very F2P handy. I would recommend it to anyone who doesn't have this sword yet. Changli first teammate I want to mention is Encore. As many people gonna try this couple for sure. It looks fun for this duo DPS to pair with each other and share their rotation time. In comparison to Encore Sanhua, this team is definitely more whale-oriented. You actually lose Sanhua basic attack buff, but gain Changli fusion buff instead. It doesn't worth it for Encore, I dare say this. However, your Encore power will be reduced to some degree. Changli offer a lot more DPS in her playtime than my previous guide Sanhua. Therefore, this team will still does more than Encore Sanhua does. Changli's second teammate is what I will show you this time. Changli Mortify. Mortify is the only true sub DPS and fusion element in the game right now, so he will support Changli while using the Moonlit set and Heron to supplement the fact that his real outro buff heavy attack, and it does nothing to help Changli. Vice versa, Changli buff give Mortify the best condition instead, because she buff both fusion damage and liberation damage, and so Mortify liberation damage will have a big power up, in which stay after you swap back into Changli too. Lastly, the free fusion main DPS Chisha is also another possible choice too. However, in this case, Changli will probably have to play the support role and give Chisha the main helm instead. So make sure you use Emerald of the Genesis instead of her banner weapon. Changli Echo's set depend on whether you use her as main or sub. Molten Rift set give her abundant of fusion DMG bonus, so you probably can take off one cost 3 for energy regen in case if you couldn't charge her between each rotation, otherwise, it is fine to use double DMG. However, using full set Molten Rift will have difficulty on building sufficient crit rate, similar to that of GN. Moonlit Clouds could relies on double cost 4, so it is easier to get right stat for her, but this will give weaker DPS on herself. S1. S1 doesn't focus in DPS, but more like stability when using her. This S prevent you from interruption while she is making her dancing, skills and forte circuit attacks. And it also increased 10% damage on her burst. This could be handy in easy content so that you don't randomly get flew away at the middle of skills, but in hard content, you prefer to dodge anyway. I rate this 2-star. S2. This is probably the best value sequence in my opinion. This S grants Changli 25% crit rate for 8 seconds whenever she gains the FC charge. And since she always get that stack all the time, so this is similar to her permanent 25% crit rate buff. Remember I mentioned how her crit rate is hard-earned if you use Molten Rift set, right? Throw that away if you got this. This is Changli best budget to unlock to optimize her value. I rate this 4-star. S3. S3 give 80% increase in her liberation power. In this game, damage increase refers to a damage bonus just like what you get from Echoes. It is not actually 80% increase, much worse. They are lumped together with element damage bonus. And it doesn't even increase on every skills, only liberation. So I would says 2.5 star. S4. S4 give all allies buff again, just like most of the 5* unit thus far. However, on Changli case, she buff herself include. S4 grants all allies ATK buff by 20% for 30 seconds after Changli intro. So this will give Changli a bit of DPS increase by a bit, while also remain for next DPS in line too. I can see that Kuro intend you to play duo main DPS comp with Changli Encore in mind. I rate this 3.5 star. S5. This give Changli FC burst multiplied by 50% and also increase DMG deal by another 50%. This is similar to Changli S6 in which increase her burst power for 1.5 times too. In addition, she get 50 damage increase too. From chart, we know that Changli burst does around 1/3 of her DPS. This is her second largest buff sequence. So I would says 4-star. S6. This is Changli most power creep sequence as you would expected. It adds 40% def ignore to all of Changli important attacks, such as skills, liberation, and FC burst. So this will also add almost 40% power increase to her DPS. With scaling down from all the increase before, it still give her power up for 1.3 times. So you see that Changli has big power up on S2, S5, and S6. So I would says 4.5 star. Changli is a flexible DPS that you can alter her gameplay to be either main or sub DPS, but her best rotation shines the most with her banner weapon as a main DPS. She is notable with her design and air combo. Like anyone else, as limited banner, Changli power increase a lot upon unlock her sequence, so you can power up as much as your budget. However, in banner saving perspective, if you can clear content using Encore, then it doesn't hold much point to get her right now. And that you should be careful if she may get attacked at the middle of her rotation if you aren't careful.
Who's the caged bird now?
Fury boils! Inferno! Burn to ashes! Let's do this another way.
Sever!
Life is in everything!
Together we vanish. From defense to offense, mind's eye. Beckon the divine flame. Sever!
Fury boils! As you wish! Silence!
My blade again. Together we vanquish. Be reduced to cinders. Sever!
Anyway, I hope you enjoy and learn something from this. Give like and subscribe to let me know if you like this quick and sweep summary style I do for Wuthering Waves content. Let's have fun and enjoy Wuthering Waves together. My followers, I love ya all! See you next time!